Dread Nation, it's JB. How do you tune your guitar? Real important. And before you start, it's important that you have a guitar that stays in tune. Or you'll go through all the effort of tuning your guitar, and as soon as you start strumming it, it'll go out of tune and it won't sound well, even though you're playing the chords right? Now, if you're playing the chords wrong, I can't help you. But tuning your guitar is really important, and you've got to start with a good guitar. What I recommend, locking tuners. They make life so much easier. They're very, very, very simple to change strings on. And you know that if you play a lot, if you're practicing an hour a day, you're definitely going to go through a set of strings, probably in a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks at the most, right? And so it's real important to have locking tuners just for ease of changing strings and the fact that they hold, right? I just put these strings on yesterday. Okay? They sound great and they stay in tune. And they stay in tune almost immediately when you put them on. Now, if I put some crazy pressure on them, they might go off a little bit, but not much. Especially if you're a musician that you perform a lot, or you do videos on YouTube, you got to make sure that you have a guitar that stays in tune. So that's priority one. Priority two is, how do you tune it, right? So generally you're going to stay on your 5th fret. Oops. Except for when you're tuning in your B string. So let me show you what that. Let me show what I mean by that. So let's start with your E string. Now, most people have tuners. There's tuners on pretty much most multi-effects pedals have tuners. Even some of the amps now have tuners. Some of the guitars have built-in tuners, right? Those are great because you don't even have to think. You just go down and wait till E, A, right? And make sure that each string's perfect. If you don't have a tuner, I'd recommend that you have one. But let's say you're at a party and you're jamming and you feel like your guitar is getting out of tune and you want to make sure that you're right and you're totally in line. Okay, so the best thing to do is try to get an E note, right? Why is that? Because 2 of my strings are E's. I have a high E and I have a low E. Strings 1, string 6, right? One of those you got to get close, right? And after a while you'll be able to do it by ear, especially if you're at a party, boom, you're done. Like you'll get it and you'll be close enough. And even if you're off a little bit, all the strings will be tuned in line to whatever note that you did tune to. So if you tuned an E flat or something just a little bit different or a little bit off, that's okay because the rest of your strings are going to be there unless you're playing with somebody. And if you're playing with somebody, another instrument, they're probably going to have an E note, right? Just say, give me an E. Boom, got it. And then tune up to their E, and then tune your guitar from there. But you want to start with your low note, your E string, your 6th string, to be specific, okay? So let's say we've got this in tune. Okay? All right, so we're going to start with our E note. I'm going to put it on treble, my electric on treble, just so that I have better tone as I'm going through this. Sometimes if you have it set on rhythm, it's a little bassy and it might be a little harder for you to get exactly right. Sound is really important. So I'm going to set it on treble. Or if you have a single coil, that's good too. Like I have a single coil in the middle. And I can check it with my harmonic, which is on my 12th fret, right across the bar. Matter of fact, you can go straight across all your strings here, just like that. It has a nice, beautiful sound to it. That's a harmonic. It's kind of a second step to as you're tuning. You want to make sure your notes are good. Okay, so let's start with our A. So let's assume that we have our low E is good, and I'm looking at the tuner, and it is. So I'm cheating. I got a tuner down here. I'm a teacher. I'm allowed to do that. Anyway, So let's say, but the rest of our strings are not in tune. All right. So let me make that happen. Okay, I tuned all my strings flat. You can go sharp if you want, but my E string is in tune. I'm good. Like, I will get the rest of these strings in tune really fast. And here's how. 6/5. That's what your 5 open should sound like, or your A string. Okay? It's really low. My 5 open is low. I need to get my open A string to sound like this. Okay? So let's try it. Now let's see how close I got. Just look, it sounds a hair flat. There's the note. Okay? It's another way you can check it. Just 5-2 and just play your E and your A string. 5 and 6. Get a nice little crunch sound there, you're in good shape. Like, you'll get used to that tune, especially if you're playing rock. If it's not in tune, that will not sound right, right? Another thing you can do is compare your A note to the A harmonic on your 5th string. Okay? Okay? All right. So your A string is now in tune. Okay? So now let's go to 5/5, 5th string, 5th fret. And that is what your 4th string open should sound like. Let's listen to it again. Okay. Now let me see if I can get that 4th string there. Okay, let's try it. Still sounds a little flat. Let's try it again. That sounds pretty close. All right, now I'm gonna check my tuner and see how close I got. It's still just a hair flat, but it was close. All right, so I'm in tune with my D. Now I'm tuning my G string. I'm going to use string 4, 5th fret. Okay. Now my 3rd string open, or my G string or my G note should sound like this. Now let's check it and see if it does. Nope, it's flat. So let's tune it up. So let's see how close we got. So here's 4, 5, and here's my open string. It's still flat. Can you hear the distinction there? I hope you can. Now that's pretty close. Let's see what I got. Yeah, I'm right on. And if we want to check the harmonic, I can go here, and then I go. There's your harmonic. Okay? It's just another way to check it. Make sure it's clean. Okay? All right. Here's the one note that's different when you're tuning, is your B string. Okay? So with your B string, right, you're going to use your 3rd string and your 4th fret, not your 5th. So your 2nd string open should sound like this, and I'm playing on 3/4. Let's see if it does. Nope, it's low. Okay, so let's see how I did. Here's the note. Here's the open string. even be just a tad high. Sound good? All right. And then for our high A note on our first string, you go back to the 5th fret on your 2nd string, and then play your 1st string open. It's flat, so I've got to bring it up to this note, okay? Sound right? Let's see how we did. And you've just tuned your guitar. Now, I take a lot of time doing that. Even with a tuner, I always mess around a little bit. A lot of times, like if your guitar has been sitting for a while, out of the case or even in the case, but particularly out of the case, humidity, temperature, there's a lot of different factors that can impact the tuning on your guitar. And so just because your guitar has been sitting there for a half hour, there's probably a pretty good chance that you need to retune it. And really, even the most minute difference, like if you're off on one string just a little bit, that can really affect how your chords sound. And so, you really, really want to be focused in to make sure your guitar's in tune. You don't want to get to a point where you're stopping in the middle of the song, though, because if you're playing with folks and you're playing live, that's not a good thing. Nobody wants to see you tuning your guitar in the middle of a song. But it's important that it's in tune. And if you need to drop out of a song when you're playing and tune up, make sure you're doing it so no one can hear your tuning, right? So if there's a way to kill the volume, if you have a volume pedal, to pop that up to 0, right? And then tune using your tuner, and once you're back in, then kick back in. The other thing is kick back in, not in the middle of a chord, but at the start of a new chord. Don't ever kick back in. If the band's already gone, wait till the next chord and then come back in, right? It's just really important. So anyway, that's how you're tuning your guitar. I hope that's helpful. Everybody rock on. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back shortly with another one. Thanks.